Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Synchron here, and today's video is going to be an ancient gear gadget deck profile. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I just never had the time to do it. I actually accidentally forgot about this deck until I was rummaging within my collection. And seeing as how we have the Destroyer back at 1 on our ban list, I was like, you know what? Why not? I might as well just see what I can do with the deck, and this is what I came up with. So I hope you all enjoy, and let's get into it. For the monsters in the main deck, we run 2 green, 2 yellow, and 2 red. Green searches red when it's almost summon special summon, red searches yellow when it's almost summon special summoned, and yellow searches green when summon or special summoned. Then we also run the 2 yellow, 2 gold, 2 silver. When either of them is almost summon special summoned, you can special summon 1 level 4 machine from your hand to your side of the field, but if either of them is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 level 4 gadget from your deck, except themselves basically. So silver is destroyed, can't special summon silver by the second effect, gold, vice versa. Let's run 2 Boot Up Admiral. Target 2 machine gadgets with different names from your hand. No, sorry, that you control or are in your grave. Special summon Boot Up Admiral. Take those 2 targets, equip them to Boot Up Corporal. I just barely caught myself saying that. And Boot Up Corporal gains 1,000 per equipped monster to this card. For the Ancient Gears, we run 3 Wyvern. Basically, with normal summon special summon, you can add an Ancient Gear card from your deck to your hand, except itself, and during the battle phase, your opponent's monsters cannot activate their effects. We also run the Gearbox package just to thin out the deck more and get more monsters in our hands as fast as possible. Then we also run the 2 Reactor Dragon. If this card is tribute summoned with a Ancient Gear monster, it can inflict piercing damage to defense position monsters. But if this was tribute summoned using a Gadget monster, it can attack twice during the battle phase. If this card attacks your opponent's spells, traps, and monster effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. And at the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, you can target 1 spell and trap on the field and destroy them. We also do run the 1 Ultimate Pound, mainly for its first effect, and it's easy summoned with Catapult. But anyways, up to twice per turn, when this attacking card destroys the opponent's monster by battle, you can discard a machine, and this card can attack again. Also, we do run the original Ancient Gear Golem. Just get a bigger beater on our side of the field with Catapult. 1 Hydra, because since we do run a lot of gadgets and Ancient Gears, I figured go a little old school with Hydra. But at the end of the damage step, when this card that was tribute summoned using an Ancient Gear monster battles an opposing monster, but that monster was not destroyed by battle, you can banish that monster instead. But if this card happened to be tributed by using a Gadget monster, it can attack all monsters to opponent controls once each. And if an Ancient Gear monster you control attacks your opponent, spell and traps and monster effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. So in a sense, a little protector for other Ancient Gears such as Wyvern. And then we also do run the 1 Scrap Recycler. When this card is almost summoned, you can send a machine from your deck to your grave, in a sense setting up for Boot Up Corporal, or just for other Ancient Gears to get into the grave to special summon them later on in the game. And once returned, you can shuffle 2 level 4 machines in your grave back into your deck if you draw 1 card. And finally, the main card in the main deck. Also, the reason why I wanted to build this deck in the first place is basically the new limited True King Disaster. If this card is in your hand, you can destroy 2 monsters in your hand and or face up on your field, including an Earth monster to special summon this card. And if you do that and both were Earth, you can also look in your opponent's extra deck and banish up to 3 monsters with different names, which is such a dumb effect. I don't know who thought that was a good idea to print such an effect on such an easy special summonable card. But anyways, if this card is destroyed by battle card effect, you can special summon one non-earth worm type monster from your grave. You can only use each effect of destroyer once per turn. But that'll wrap it up for the monsters of the main deck. I do hope you can see this. If not, I do hope my horrible reading kind of gave you all a good understanding of what each deck does. What each card does. But yeah. Again, I'm still surprised Disaster came off on the ban list. I just think it's such a ridiculous card, especially since the Machina structure that came out. And those cards aren't bad. I'm definitely going to make an update on those later. But no more ranting. Let's get to the spells. For the spells of the deck, we run 3 Ancient Gear Catapult. While you control no monsters, you can target a face-up card you control. Destroy it. If you do, special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. And if this card is in your grave, you can target 1 face-up card you control. Destroy it. If you do, special summon an Ancient Gear token. You can only use 1 Ancient Gear Catapult effect per turn, and only that turn. We also do run the 2 Gear Town as one of the catapult targets. We don't really tribute summon with this deck, so the first effect is good because it allows you to tribute 1 less monster for the tribute summon of an Ancient Gear monster. But again, we don't use it. We use the second effect mainly, that being when this card is destroyed and sent to the grave, special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your hand, deck, or grave. And for a little bit of Ancient Gear protection, we do run the 2 Ancient Gear Fortress. During the turn they were normal summon or special summon, your opponent cannot target Ancient Gear monsters you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of Ancient Gear cards or effects. Cards and effects. And if this card is destroyed in the spell and trap zone, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your hand or grave. But you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Ancient Gear monsters. So, in a sense, pop this card when you have to, but since this card does run other cards such as Gadget, be wary when you pop this card, but other than that, it's just good for the protection of Ancient Gear monsters. For the Gadgets, we run 2 Boot Up Order Gear Change. Since we do run, if I could find it here somewhere, here we go. Sorry about that. 2 of the Command Dynamo. When this card is activated, you can target any number of Gadgets monsters you control that are equipped to a monster, special summon them. Then you can discard a card, add a Boot Up Admiral, but we don't do that because we don't run Admiral in the deck. Why? I just personally don't like running it in this build, but by all means, you could run it in your own build. And you can only use the search effect of Admiral, to add Admiral once per turn. You can only activate 1 Boot Up Order Gear Change once per turn as well. 1 Overload Fusion for the Chaos Ancient Gear Giant Fusion Summon. If you want to run 2, by all means go for it, but this deck doesn't really focus on getting the Chaos Ancient Gear Giant on your side of the field. It's just more of a situational play. That's why I only run 1. But for the other fun cards of the deck, at least in my opinion, Action Magic Full Turn. This turn, double any battle damage that a player takes from battles involving 2 monsters. So in a sense, just a fun way to OTK your opponent as fast as possible. And during your main phase, if this card is sent to your grave, except the turn this card was sent to the grave, you can discard a spell to set this card. And since we do run machines, 2 limited removal, and finishing it up, 2 Twin Twisters. Either pop spell and traps you control or destroy your opponent's spell and traps, depending on how problematic they are, say Mystic Mine, or whatever you just don't want them to have on their side of the field. But that'll wrap it up for these spells and traps. No, spells. Only spells. We don't run traps. Sorry about that. For the extra deck, we run 1 Castel, just to shuffle one card on the field back into the deck. 1 Geargan X to search out level 4 or lower machine monsters from our deck or grave to our hand. 1 Heavy Armored Train Iron Wolf to allow one monster we control, one machine monster we control to attack our opponent directly. We also run the Utopia package because we do run a multitude of level 4 monsters to go into our lightning just to go for that additional damage. We also run the number 27 Dreadnought package. And for the... Okay, for those who don't know, the number 21, basically, it requires 2+ level 4 monsters, generic. At the end of the battle phase, if this card is destroyed and opponent is sponsored by battle, you can special summon from your extra deck one rank 10 or higher machine XC monster by using this face-up card as material, and whatever material it has under it is transferred to that XC monster. So 2 options I currently have are the Gustav, mainly for the edition 2000 burn, or the number 81 rail cannon, mainly just to have a big beater on the field. Plus, once per turn during each player's turn, detach a material from this card and target one face-up monster on the field, or just itself, and view that target is unaffected by card effects, except its own effects. And we also run the 1 King of All Calamities to change all monsters on the field to Earth, because that is the multitude of this deck being Earth, and your opponent's monsters that have the declared attribute cannot activate their effects or attack. And basically the way to go into Calamity is with, if I could find them, either the 2 Reactor Dragons, or use a Reactor Dragon and True King, the Destroyer, for the rank 9 XC summon. We only run 1 fusion, that being 1 Chaos Ancient Gear Giant for the OTK plays. We only run 1 because you could, relatively you could run 2, but I think running 1 with the 1 Overload Fusion in the deck is kind of a must. No, sorry, not a must. A better go-to than using 2 Overload Fusions and relying on Ancient Gear Giant for the heavy hitting plays. I just think 1 Overload and 1 Giant is good enough for the deck, since the whole deck isn't revolving around your Ancient Gear monsters, because it does have a hefty requirement, that being 4 Ancient Gear monsters. But yeah, anyways, next up we do run the 1 Platinum Gadget for the easy special summon. When it is link summoned, basically allowing us to special summon a level 4 or lower level 4 or lower machine monster from our hand to a zone it points to. And if this card happens to be destroyed by battle or card trick, you special summon a level 4 gadget from our deck, which it has a multitude of. And finishing up the extra deck, a personal new favorite for the Ancient Gears, 1 Ancient Gear Ballista. Basically, this is our searcher for Gear Town. It requires 2 Earth machines, easy for the deck. And you can target 1 spell and trap you control, and a face-up monster your opponent controls. Destroy that spell and trap you control. And if you do, the monster you targeted with this effect, you can change that monster's attack and defense to 0 until the end of this turn. Basically, it just helps utilize the OTK during your battle phase, assuming you want to go for that. That's why we only run 1. You could bump this card up to 2 or even 3 if you want, but I just think 1 is good enough for the deck. But that'll wrap it up for the extra deck. If you made it this far into the video, I'd like to say thank you, and hopefully this video was helpful in some way. Maybe hopefully rekindled your love for Gadget or Ancient Gears. But yeah, I have nothing else to say really, so I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like the video, please share it with anybody who is interested. Subscribe if you're new so we could grow the channel as fast as possible. And I will see you all next time.